If you were expecting this week's manga chapter of Bleach to pick up after last week's monumentally disappointing chapter, well, be prepared to be disappointed again, as this was another week where absolutely nothing went down in the Bleach universe. Let's go over the main details. Ichigo, continuing to lose. Oryu, continuing to lose. That's pretty much the whole chapter right here. All dressed up with a lot of great wordplay. I'll give Kubo this. He's a good writer. He knows what he's doing in terms of his writing skills. However, his pacing is completely off whack. Not to mention, he just really loves to disappoint his fans. I truly sympathize with you guys after reading last week's chapter, which was a chapter that honestly, I didn't hate that much. For me, it was a big deal, just to see Ichigo's brand new abilities for the very first time. But I understand the huge outcry behind it. The fact that there was such a massive build-up to seeing Ichigo's brand new abilities, which to me felt only like a year. It wasn't until I actually looked at the comments section that I realized that it's taken nearly 3 years to get to this point. And when we finally get there, boom, the carpet is pulled out from under our feet and we're told to just deal with it. And we get more of that in this week's chapter. So, like I said, basically Ichigo is just getting his ass handed to him throughout most of this chapter, with the Quincy leader claiming that he's going to take his powers back, and you're almost just waiting for that exact moment where his father Isshin is going to come in like a white knight and start kicking all sorts of ass. It's very obvious it's going to go in that direction. I mean, you guys do remember when they showed Isshin and Ryuken actually coming into Soul Society a couple of chapters ago. No doubt they're probably going to go and help out their respective sons. But as much as it was fun to watch Ichigo get his ass handed to him this week, the biggest part definitely has to be between both Uryu Ishida and Haschwalth. That's right, Hash Brown Haschwalth is at it again. He's continuing to talk people to death, and what I find most interesting is how similar their abilities are in this chapter, because Uryu finally decides to reveal his antithesis ability. Antithesis, the exact opposite of, and that's exactly what he's able to do with these abilities. He's able to take all of the damage that's been done to him, throw it right back to Hash Brown. What does Hash Brown do? He freaking uses his abilities to throw them right back to Uryu Ishida. They could be doing this for the next 5 chapters, constantly bleeding out, and that's probably what's going to happen. It's not really all that exciting, and despite the fact that the wordplay is very good, it doesn't exactly make for a great read, and I don't think it's going to pull in the Bleach fans who decided to leave a chapter ago. So, what's the rundown on this week's chapter of Bleach? What the hell am I even reading at this point? You know, a lot of people had this comment last week when I was reading, and they were saying that the only reason I'm continuing to read the Bleach series is because I've been following it for over a decade. I just want to see how it's going to end. And in many senses, I can truly understand that. I'm kind of in the same boat. While I am a very big Bleach fan, I love the characters, I love the universe and the world building, it's just taking its damn time to get to this point, and it's just basically dicking around. That's the best phrase I can think of when I'm thinking of this chapter right here. Another week gone by, another week where almost nothing happens in Bleach. It's starting to get slightly disappointing, and only more so because this is supposedly the final arc of the series. This is where everything is going to get wrapped up, and there's still a lot of other plot points we haven't even got back to. They're really trying to focus on this big final battle, which is clearly not the big final battle. You can see that it's not going to be going into that direction. The fans are not that stupid. They can tell what's going to be happening in this story, and in many ways, that makes it a huge disappointment. That being said, the series still has some really great artwork. If there's one thing that the author does know how to do aside from his drawing and his writing, it's how to compose a really cool looking and brutal action scene. The Quincy leader, as much of a broken record as he is still just continuing to look awesome when he's doing it. I mean, Ichigo, on the other hand, is completely freaking brain dead at the moment. Dude can't even keep his composure. He's completely done. Inoue is dead on the ground. Probably not really, but still, you're just waiting for that moment for their fathers to come in and save the day, and it's disappointing that we have to wait for something like that because it's so damned obvious, and when it does happen, people aren't going to be satisfied. So I'm really hoping that the author is going to do something that's going to catch us by surprise, something that we're not going to expect. I mean, we still have Rukia and Renji who could possibly appear at any moment, but what the fuck are they going to do against the Quincy leader? My guess is probably jack and shit. What I will say is, there were some positives to this chapter. Like I said, the artwork looked really cool, Every single, like, panel with the Quincy King looks really awesome, especially with his brand new powers, where he has that black cloak, which is constantly emanating from his body like black smoke covered in eyeballs. It's real freaky imagery, but it looks really damn cool. If anything, the artwork in this chapter is definitely something to look forward to. And then, of course, we go to Uryu, Ishida, and Haschwalth, who just continue to talk each other to death. Could these guys just fight with their abilities for once? Could they just go full Dragon Ball with this and not have to explain everything? And that's really one of my biggest issues with Bleach at the moment. Every single time a brand new character shows up, they have to spend chapters and chapters explaining what they do. We don't need such complex explanations. This is not Hunter x Hunter. This is the Bleach series. People have swords, swing them into each other's faces. We don't need to get this complex with it. And I understand, it's the final arc of the series, so they have to really go out with a bang. But damn it, they're going out really slow. And that made this chapter, frankly, kind of boring. It's not too often that I do negative chapter reviews, because I always try to look on the positive side of things. But honestly, after last week's chapter, the fallout, the fan base reacting, I'm starting to understand where you guys are coming from. And I'm really waiting for this shit to start picking up soon. What I will say is, this is still a chapter of Bleach that is worth reading, if only to read it one time. Just to move the story along, just to get a little bit of satisfaction from it. But if you're expecting this chapter to reinvent the wheel, you're not going to get it. And you're probably going to guess what's going to happen with Ichigo and Uryu's father just showing up at the last second to save the frickin' day. Maybe they're going to be bold with this decision. Maybe they'll do something interesting, like instead of Isshin going to Ichigo, he goes to Uryu. Maybe they reverse everything and we get to see them going to help out. The Quincy helps out the Shinigami helps out the Quincy. Maybe that'll spice things up a little bit more. Maybe the frickin' Fullbringers will return. Is Orohara alive? What's the deal with Rukia and Renji, and what the hell is Aizen doing? Is he still strapped to a chair? Who knows? There's tons of other plot points which have not been picked up yet, and we're gonna have to wait to see what they do with it. The Bleach series basically does whatever the fuck it wants, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it does not. So, this chapter right here can be summarized into Ichigo getting his ass handed to him, and Hash Brown and frickin' Uryu just constantly killing each other by reversing the attacks they do on each other. Simple as that. But at least it looked pretty decent doing it. So, I'm gonna give this week's chapter right here a 3 out of 5. A painfully average chapter of Bleach, which was way too overly wordy, and frankly, I wish they would just get to the damn point. That's really the only thing I have to say about this one. So Bleach fans, make sure to read this chapter at least once. You might see something you like. However, I would love to hear from you guys. Did any of you read this week's manga chapter of Bleach? Please tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. Is there something that I'm missing from this chapter? Am I just being overly aggressive about this one? Was there something you did like about this week's chapter? Maybe you didn't like it. What do you think is going to happen? Are Ichigo and Uryu's fathers going to return? Are we going to see some new characters show up? What do you want to see from the final battle of the Bleach manga series? Please tell me in the comments section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. I really appreciate it. If you would like to help support Super Kami Guru 9000, you can do that in a number of awesome ways. You could like this video, share it with a friend, comment on it, but most importantly, make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you'll be able to see all of our latest anime and manga reviews as they are released. And make sure to also check out our weekly podcast series, The Powerful Nerdcast. You can find links for that in the description box below. Thank you guys again for watching. And, as always, stay dandy, baby.